Um, since we are already in a discussion which is very much about what we would like to achieve and what EuroDIG could do in could could reflect and what are the aims, that's actually the perfect moment to start our discussion about the overarching theme. And here I listed for you the overarching themes of the last years. We had no overarching theme before 2012, and in 2012 we started with a really strong one: who sets the rules for the internet? This was many times quoted for other workshops, sessions, and so on and so forth. But also the other teams, sometimes they one build upon the other. For instance, while in Tallinn we were talking about the digital future and promises and pitfalls, in Tbilisi we said, okay, let's put it a little bit more positive and talk about innovative strategies for our digital future. So you see there was kind of a follow-up. But now the big question is, what is the overarching theme for next year? And with this, I hand over to Thomas to do the typing exercise. See, we have a chair for you, a chair for the chair. Here, this computer. Okay, and some of you started already thinking about keywords and what should be reflected. So now he is the one collecting all your ideas. So come up. Fred?
Moving. I thought you were the boss of the mic. No. So okay, but that's fantastic. I see Thomas already writing stuff, and I didn't even start it. But okay, that's yeah. That's a secret cabinet suggestion. Oh my God! Stop it. No, some ideas. Yes, exactly. um, I believe we discussed this. The buzzword is artificial intelligence those days, right? I still wondering what is intelligent in artificial intelligence. What I know is that what we're doing here, and you gave me the idea when you said that all this process is really in the DNA of the host. So I would like to come with something that resembles buzzword, but it is not a buzzword, and that would be internet governance intelligence. Yeah, you need to, or something like this. Yeah. Yeah, but that's something that might catch attention. I don't know. Well, that was my. Yeah. Governance. Yeah, not governments. Are you crazy? Or multi-stakeholderism, multi-stakeholder intelligence. I don't know. Multi-stakeholder intelligence or collaborative intelligence. I don't know. Okay, I'm done.
Well, at the cost of being pushy, I will propose Internet for the Age of Society 5.0. For the Society 5.
Um, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to be a little less helpful here. No, I think looking through the list of themes from 2012 onwards, I think they start off quite specific and they get a lot more generic over time. And as someone who's come to all of these planning meetings over the years. I share my responsibility of blame for that, but I think it's worth. What is he going to write here? It's worth thinking about what we're trying to achieve by having an overarching theme. Are we actually trying to identify a common question across all of the sessions that we have, or a common dilemma? Or and I mean, I think if we look at some of the discussions we've had about, you know, consolidation, vertical integration, okay, that's one aspect, and I could probably try and find something within that, but I'm not sure that plays into the questions about, we're not calling it fake news now, or information disorder, whatever the new, that one. I'm not sure that's quite the same. So I'm finding the commonality between those themes, I think, is a challenge that I don't really have any suggestions for, but I'd, certainly be curious to hear what people see as the value in having an overarching theme.
I would avoid using any buzzword related to internet, digital, whatever. Scrap that from the title, because it's boring. And if you look at, for instance, alternatives, look at the fourth industrial wave, look at the perfect wave, look at the convolution of forces, look at a title which explains it. But please, let's leave out the jargon, otherwise we're going to do this thing only for a preaching for the converted scenario. So I would stick something like Going Dutch. Going Dutch. It actually means doing things together as well.
Just one comment. Maybe what we need to keep in mind is, what are we using this title for? You alluded to it a little bit. We didn't have it in the beginning, and then suddenly this emerged, and once you have this, you cannot really abolish it anymore, so we'll have a title this year. And I think there's two elements. The key element is to help to communicate EuroDIG. So basically, whatever the buzzword is, nobody cares as long as it helps to raise attention. That's one of the elements, independent of whether it makes sense or not, or whether 10,000 other people use the same buzzwords. We need the title to raise attention. That's one thing. Ideally, and that's what Chris was referring to, if this would help to get a frame or a mindset that a particular angle that we are looking at things comes across through the title, that becomes like a leading question or a leading thing throughout the whole conference, that would be the ideal case. So this is at least my perception of what the title should be helpful for. I hope that helps.
So, yeah, I don't have a title yet, but one thing that I think we should capture is that this year, 2018, marked a shift in the feeling and kind of a sense of betrayal from the internet. A lot of disillusions, and a lot of, we saw kind of the dark side of the internet. And something that goes back into, claim your own internet, or captures this feeling of, you're losing something if you don't act now. And I think we should put that also as is in the picture of what's the role of EuroDIG. We are seeing big changes of the internet. It's very different from the first EuroDIG that we had. We didn't have a title, but the internet seems so nice and beautiful and powerful to us. 10 years after, we see that it can be a very dangerous tool, and if we just continue like that, status quo is not going to look very nice. So something that puts this urgency and claims a role for EuroDIG to find a way forward.
I like the notion of urgency, because we have so many topics. We have we need to protect freedom of speech. We need to protect malware. We need to do things at many. We need to do many things, but what's really the common denominator is that we need to get it right now. So I would propose time to get it right.
How to get it right?
Try to make wording proposals, so we need to narrow things down.
It's time to get it right.
Try to get it right.
Time to get it right.
Get what right?
Internet governance, internet, whatever, but time to get it right. Okay, IT is fine as well. Yeah.
That's sort of unfair to us to the others. What about this one? IT is everywhere. What is your excuse for not being involved in internet governance? What is your excuse?
Another question, it needs to be fit online.
But it's thinking out loud, so how can we bring it together? But at the end of this, what is your excuse for not being present? Because it's everywhere in your life. How can you that? I'm not good in writing one sentence, but you know that by now. But that's basically why you entice people to participate.
I think the IGF 2017 thing in Geneva, the title was "Shape Your Digital Future." Or was that an EuroDIG title? That was but the opposite. Like if you're not there, the others shape the future for you, and then don't complain, type of thing. But maybe we get something catchier, shorter. Okay, keep working.
Shift happens.
Tanya and then Auke?
Shift happens.
I shift happens. I have to admit, I don't remember who proposed time to get it right. I'm totally in love with this one. The only thing, you probably know me for years, and you know that I don't like exclamation marks at the end. I like question marks because it's an invitation to discussion. Time to get it right?
Yes. Okay. One thing that I saw in the program is that it's all about responsibilities. Every stakeholder has to take their own responsibility. So, my working title will be "Take Responsibility Together."
And maybe, in addition, what Louis said this morning, global responsibility for Europe.
The shorter the title, the better you can play with it in terms of marketing instruments. And also one thing that was evident for EuroDIG, that we had a little bit more provocative titles than the global internet governance forums that had to be utterly political correct and so on and so forth. Since we are here in a country where there is 100% frankness, I'm also very much in like time to get it right and shift happens. Maybe even a combination of both. Shift happens, time to get it right. Thomas, what would you propose? Do we ask for... Let's hum? Okay.
What are the elements? There's a recurrence of some of the elements. The one element is we don't think that everything is going into the right direction. We somehow need to give it a turn in a different way. That is one of the elements of what I hear. The other element is that responsibility is that things don't happen by themselves, so we need to take action based on some concepts of responsibilities. These are actually the key elements that I think I see. So the question is, what do you want to say? What is the key? What is the message that should come out of EuroDIG? We can also take it from the end. What is the message? How do we provoke people so that in the end we have a message that the title or the question or whatever provokes? Yuri.
To my mind, the best so far has been the one built on reclaiming, because that's what we really want to do, reclaiming the internet.
I would just plus one that, because I mean, I think the key message I see across it all is that, yes, the change is happening very quickly and in ways that it's producing changes that we don't even understand as it's going. So this is about taking control, getting informed, taking a more sort of deliberate approach to the changes that the internet creates.
Yeah, I agree with many things said. I think from our perspective, and also looking at the program, something we noted in the partners material is how we see the open internet being under threat and under pressure from many sources. Also, that's in the program when it comes to disinformation, cybersecurity threats, tackling online harm, etc. It seems like we're talking a bit about who is the proper guardian of the internet, who's the guardian of an open and prosperous internet, and how can we together as a community take responsibility. So I would suggest a key word involving responsibility or guardian, without copying too much the IGF last year in trusted and secure internet.
Thank you. Maybe one thing about reclaiming the internet, that reminds me of the reclaiming the streets, and I guess this is where you come from. That may be a little bit like we want a pass back, but that will not come type of thing. So it's to some extent maybe a little backward looking. I don't know how modern or how provoking the Dutch can be, but who is turning me down here? Is that just the shift happens, trying to get it right, is definitely a title that would not be full of buzzwords like the other ones that you normally hear. It's quite witty and it has several elements in it that may make people think. Some people may think it's too not diplomatic enough, like working together for a better future with the internet as one of the important tools for blah, 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 titles that we normally hear. The shift happens, time to get it right would probably raise a lot of attention.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with that. I was going to say something similar. 2 points Thomas made that we want to convey, which I agree. But I don't think it should be in a nagging and, hey, we've been screwing so far, let's do it right. That started to become boring, I think. So, shift happens, time to get it right, has some humor in it and some not nagging so much, but looking more hopeful. And the one that I propose, which contains buzzword, unfortunately, however, I think it's very important buzzword, Internet for Society 5.0, again, hopeful futures rather than nagging type of teams. Yeah.
Who's next, Fritz?
Another from command and control to connect and collaborate.
Slow?
From command and control to connect and collaborate.
Well, first I thought of stopping Rolf from wrecking the internet. But stopping Rolf. Rolf wrecks the internet. Didn't you see that movie? That's a new movie. But basically, the other one is stepping up the game. Just that. Stepping up the game. Because change happens faster and faster, and things are happening.
We have some online comments from Arvin. What type of intelligence is our internet governance future, artificial or not? But that's not a title, that's more kind of a concept. How Now, how with digital Earth we can conserve the planet and biodiversity? Someone said support for reclaiming the internet, and is adding maybe for humans, for Europe, and or. And also Vittorio Bertolo saying European alternative to US and China concept. Yeah, that's it. Shall we do the humming exercise? Fred?
Yeah.
We
I
have to
believe
condense it first.
we're ready for the humming, I believe. But honestly, this time to get it right was okay. I don't know how suddenly the shift happens was added to it. I thought it was another line. So that you know, for me, the shift happen is a big no. Let's be serious. Honestly, it's a no. But the time to get it right is excellent. Okay.
I agree. Let's put it. Yeah.
Yes, I also like that one. With the only thing that I would prefer as affirmative. Sorry, Tatiana, but I don't think it's a matter of question anymore. I mean, we cannot. Yeah, shall we get it right or not? Yes. Yes, it's a discussion. Maybe not the affirmation point, but just just yeah.
Maybe how to get it right? Maybe no.
Thank you. I would like to offer a different interpretation. So shift happens, that's the observation. We are getting a backlash here, right? And so the call is time to get it right, and I still can live with a question mark. And that makes it like we are seeing that the things are developing in the wrong direction, and we want to correct that. So I would suggest to delete the square brackets in the United Nations text there.
Trying to not to jump the gun. I will be now eliminating a few lines in order to reduce it. If somebody has strong feelings about something that I'm eliminating, please shout, because then I will not eliminate it. So I try to reduce to 2, 3, 4 options now. Oh, if that's okay for you. More?
Yeah.
Stepping up the game doesn't say anything. Does need a buzzword.
5.0 kannst du auch wegmachen. I think that's too political. I don't think we can do that.
No, I'm trying to reflect the fact that some people like it, but I take out the allusions to where these concepts come from. Maybe that helps. But of course, I'm in your hand. That's what you think, at least. Okay. So I eliminate until you say stop it. eliminated 2 minutes ago. You want to have it back? Right, that was before. I can always reintroduce it. Okay.
But stepping up the game, what does it mean?
I'm continuing to delete, so please pay attention.
May I add another theme, please? Suggestion?
Yeah, of course.
How many times do I have to explain to people who I was talking to what EuroDIG means, what internet governance mean? And my answer is, it's dealing with you. So my suggestion would be to have a theme, internet governance is all about you. It also reflects the geopolitical debate that is multilateralism versus multi-stakeholderism. There are disputes going on right now in New York. We are fighting for the multi-stakeholder approach. But at the end, it's all about the internet user, the people who are using the internet. And so by having this word internet in the title, it for people who doesn't know anything about the internet governance or EuroDIG, say, hey, this is something we have to go to.
Good point, but this is what we tried to do with the Tbilisi title, with our future, and this is what the Geneva IGF tried with shape your digital future. That doesn't mean that this is no, because we can have the opinion that we still need to refer to the fact that it's about us and you. But we had this before.
Yeah.
Where's the second mic?
The thing is, we're talking so much here at EuroDIG, at IGF, at other regional IGFs, and in the meanwhile, developments, both innovation, business, industry, is moving very, very fast. And this is why stepping up the game in these kind of circles makes sense, because if we don't step up the game, we become irrelevant, however good our conversations are, however nice our gatherings are.
But my question would be, you say it means something for our circles. How do we reach out to new communities? And this is something which should be done. I mean, stepping up the game, this is not a title to explain an outsider why they should participate. That's
Well, I mean, it is the idiomatic expression. It means improve your performance, improve the quality of debate or whatever. And I don't know why, but I know I'm not a native speaker. There are a few native speakers.
Don't talk without the mic. They don't hear it.
No, sorry, we don't hear you.
I would like to support Martin in this, because to me it is colloquial. It is colloquial and it has its meaning. You don't have to explain it to anyone. Like how it's related to community, whatever. It's just, kind of, for me it's obvious. I don't know. Yeah, so I quite like it, although I like time to get it right, but this one should stay there so we can do humming.
No. Okay, I will talk. No, maybe we can merge two lines together. Step up to get it right. Whoa. No mic.
I'm humming already.
so Adam, last one.
Yeah, I'd like to be miserable and awkward. I hate these sessions where we try and think about themes. I was a member of the MAG for 2 years and then in the IGA. And I've done hundreds of hours of this and I think it's rubbish. And so what I'd like to do is go back to to suggest that instead of trying to think of this every year, because there are 40 people in this, 50 people in this room, so we're just wasting 50 hours of our time when we could be talking about something useful. I would actually suggest that we call it EuroDIG 2019, a dialogue for internet stakeholders shaping internet policy, something that is perennial, something that is evergreen, so that we don't have to do this ever again, so that we actually have EuroDIG 2020, the dialogue for internet policy in Europe, or the something for, we are the arena for discussing this in Europe, and leave it at that. And then The Hague or whoever it is can have really nice postcards that say we're going to do things on the beach, and which is really rude actually in where I come from. But anyway, but so I mean, I would no, seriously, I do think we have a better use of 40 people's time than this, and I've done it, and Thomas, you've done it many times in the IGF. If we could make it perennial, then it would be better.
But the thing is, in a number of speeches by ministers, in press releases, you will have the thing like, this year's title, this year's focus will be blah, blah, blah. People, I see where you're coming from, but people are used to it, and it helps you to say, this year will be better than ever before because the new focus of this is better than ever before.
Yeah, but it's
that's just a selling
But
point.
just to come back,
I'm
with
in
it,
your hands.
I do get what you. Of course, I understand what you're saying, but I just think you could also persuade a minister that I am going to the dialogue on internet policy and development. I'm going to the place where we discuss as multi-stakeholder. So that's the dialogue I would feed to them, and then leave the title in this generic format. Sorry, I'm waving around.
And another one awkward moment to suggest the new theme at the time when the themes are actually deleted. Yeah, I would think of something like IT challenges you, like it challenges you, and then it would be EuroDIG 2019, it challenges you, for example. It would be just a mix between several ideas, it as IT, reclaiming the internet, meaning from challenges to opportunities, and then integrating you also in this concept.
Okay. Any other suggestions, Chris?
Well, can I
Hmm?
add +1 to what Adam was saying? I think this is. I don't think this is getting better every year. I don't think it's a process that's very helpful. And I think to tie it back to what I originally said, I think if what we were doing was identifying a common theme that really is, for some reason, tying together the discussions in this 12-month block, that would be something. That would be a useful thing to say, okay, we have identified this high-level trend in internet governance right now, but we're not doing that. We're sort of struggling to come up with something broad and generic that can cover all of the different discussions we're having. And at that point, I don't think it's a useful process. And I think, yeah, trying to have a generic statement about who we are, what we do is better and will save us from these discussions in future.
Hang on, first Olivier, then Wout, then Jan. And then an online comment, perhaps. There is quite some support for Time to Get It Right, by the way, and I would really rather go to than adding more than to humming. And then there's another one, EuroDIG Arena for a Democratic Digital Society.
Okay, I
Olivier.
have another suggestion just to add to the list, so it can be deleted later. Smart discussions for a smarter internet.
I think that I will go with the suggestion just made, that we have a generic title through the years, and there will be some sort of a text below that in the invitation, and these are the sort of yells or whatever you would like to call them that will entice people to come over, because this is something perfect to use in your text. Just IT challenges you, stepping up the game, time to get it right. That's something you can make a sentence of, and then you have every year the same invitation on top, so you don't have to waste indeed 2 hours.
I think having an explanation what EuroDIG is makes sense, and we should go for that as well. But I don't agree that we are just looking for some words. We have a specific situation. We have a situation where we have some feeling of urgency, and we want to express that. And I think this perfectly makes sense, and this is specific to this year, and it hasn't been this way the year before.
The thing is, like, what we already have is, if you look at the communication, is EuroDIG, and then below that it says European Dialogue on Internet Governance. That's already there. That's in the logo. Below the EuroDIG acronym, it's the explanation. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. That's already there. And I mean, your suggestion is to have that plus a title is basically what we are doing now. So I think the basic decision is, do we want a title that, along the lines of what we just heard, tries to capture some specific feeling that we share to at least a large part, yes or no? If who does not want to have any title like this? Who prefers to just call it Europe? We can also just leave it European Dialogue on Internet Governance, full stop. Who would go for not having a title like this? 1, 2, 3? 3.5, 4, 5? Well, humming is, we can also hum, but who would prefer to try and capture a specific sentiment in time through a title? I think the humming is much louder for the second fraction. Can we take this as the basis to continue? Okay, Valentina.
Yeah, no, I would say since this year we already engaged with this exercise already, and I quite like time to get it right. Maybe this year we just have a title, but maybe a suggestion for the future, along what Chris and Adam already said, would be to have something, yes, generic and whatever, but I understand for PR reason, to be catchy, it's also useful to have a sort of subtitles, but this could be simply the secretariat maybe in the hosting country to have a discussion on that. You know, not everything must be necessarily multi-stakeholder, and you can always engage the partners and whoever wants to be online, maybe if they want comment, but not necessarily, yeah, probably spend 2 hours of the planning meeting on the title. That would be...
To be honest, I disagree, because the secretariat, and I'm sure even if we add the host team, we would never get to such a variety of opinions and get the feeling in the room. Exactly. So I disagree in this point. And regarding title, yes or no, if you look at last year's title, as Jon said, it expresses a certain feeling to a certain moment in time and to in a specific region, and I think that has a value. It's kind of like a history book of what has been. In 2016 in Brussels, we were embracing the digital revolution. A year later, we were afraid of promises and pitfalls. So I really think, but Thomas, I think in terms of time, let's do the humming exercise. I don't, 2 fingers, Chris? And then, because in
so I'm going to give up my old position and just, okay, time to get it right. I like the IT. I'm not sold on IT as a cap. It feels sort of old-fashioned and not related to internet governance to me. But yeah, so I'm not. It makes it sound like an IT conference. Well, see that. Yeah, but time to get EG right doesn't make sense. So I would just leave it as, I would leave it like that. But that, yeah.
Okay, Thomas here, humming.
There's a sense that we should stop the discussion here and basically hum the loudest for the time to get it right proposal. I'm trying to shorten it. So please hum for all the other proposals together now. Okay, no humming. Please hum for the time to get it right proposal now. Yeah, that was very loud. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The thing is, we need to have something that raises attention. I think time to get it right, personally, is probably quite accurate for the situation that we are in. And unless trying to bring this so close, unless somebody really has a problem with this title, has sleepless nights.
No, I've just one question, because we're not the first one with this title. Don't we care?
No, we don't.
Okay, then
is there?
I'm okay.
Do we risk a copyright lawsuit?
No, but it's just not very original theme.
Yes, Wout?
I'm going to the line above it. Shift is a perfect word, because that is what actually is happening. And if we put that in little letters, and then the time to get it right, with IT in capitals, then you make it a forward-moving something. It says more than it just says time to get it right. It said no, shift is happening, time to get it right. So I would advocate the shift happens in smaller letters like now, and the time to get it right in big ones.
Okay, let's do this in 2 steps. Can we agree that time to get it right is either the full or part of the title? Okay, I personally am fully with you because I love the shift happens. Because it's, I mean, it is completely innocent. It's just a fact, shift happens. Whoever has nasty thoughts, I mean, shift happens. And now it's time to get it right. But if there are no people that think that this is absolutely diplomatically, our kids will all go down the drain because they lost all. So you see, people don't, not everybody wants it. Tatiana has very strong feelings about this. Could you explain us why? There are other mics.
Yes, I would totally love it to for on conference or for whatever, but I'm sorry, for example, for cybersecurity sessions, we sometimes need to bring industry people, serious people, and they have to sell this to their bosses. And shift happens is not going to sell, at least in half of the
Why
cases
not?
I can imagine. Thomas, not everyone is so cute, you know.
Wait, what is the problem with shift happen? Frederick.
So I'm sorry. I'm super amazed that we have this discussion. I'm sorry. I find it very funny with a glass of wine. Let's play on EuroDIG. We can make a lot of jokes about the stupid name as well. So, but
So you think it's stupid?
It's stupid.
You think
and
it's
it
stupid?
will
Okay.
have no credit to what we're trying to do. I'm a very funny guy in a private, but this is professional. So honestly, it's a big no.
What is unprofessional about shift?
Let's
happen?
not elaborate.
Okay,
on
let's
this.
discuss
You know
this
the
tonight.
this is a wordplay with
To-
shit happens. I'm sorry.
To cut it down, let's just say time to get it right. I think there's no consensus on the rest. Nadia had one last for Nadia, and then.
Thank you very much. My name is Nadia from the Youth Coalition on Internet Governance. You asked a direct question, why shift happens, and if we're talking about the people that we're trying to approach, I don't think shift happens, like in English it works, but I don't think if it was translated into other languages and we're trying to encourage people from non-English speaking communities to come, I don't think it necessarily translates something that people would then convey. So that's in regards to your question.
Well, sometimes if you, I mean, this is only in English anyway, so you will have to translate into any other. So I think we're done. It's time to get it right. That's the decision.
Change
Yes.
happens.
Wout?
Change happens. Then shift goes away.
The game is over. I'm sorry.
Change happens instead of shift happens. Change happens. I think we should stay with time to get it right. Otherwise, we will not sort this out. But just IT big or capital or small letters?
Big. Small capital letters.
Is that a compromise?
One small letter, yeah.
Exclamation mark, question mark, nothing at all. Like this?
Nee, maar dit impliceert alsof het helemaal kapot is.
Okay, that's it. We'll continue the why it is. No, I don't say anything anymore in public here. On the shift happens. I loved it, and I'm amazed that these private sector techie people are so afraid of a little bit of stupidity and easy wit. They are so afraid. Just a personal remark.
Okay, who tweets about, Elisabeth, could you tweet about that we have all the overarching themes, time to get it right? Actually, now the last point of our agenda is the next steps, and I would suggest we go for a coffee break now. We are now 15 minutes ahead of schedule. So go for yeah.